Hey guys, it's Daniel from Stunt PPC. So in today's video, I wanted to discuss how you could get higher quality conversions in Google Ads and some things that I've seen that most advertisers are missing, which is withstanding them from getting more conversions. So Google Ads in general can be quite confusing in the sense that the landscape is really tough right now, and you might not know how to access certain of these points. So my goal is just to help you out and like make you aware of these certain changes that you can make because you might not have heard of them. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So the first thing, one of the more obvious ones, is location targeting. So when we click on one of our campaigns here, we can click campaign settings, and we can filter by locations. Locations, enter another location, advanced search, and then you can add by radius. So wherever you are, you can add or exclude certain locations. So I don't know, let's say Toronto. We can target or we can exclude as well, right? So right here, you can exclude as well. So we say Mississauga, for example, and we don't want to target it. So that means that our ads aren't going to show to anybody there. Because a big issue some local businesses have as well is they'll be only targeting a certain region, and then they'll start getting calls or leads from areas that aren't relevant to what they're targeting. So a great way to make sure your ads don't actually show up for these locations is by adding location exclusions. So in that sense, you're just going to show your ads to the exact people that you want to show them to. So nobody else gets to see your ads. The thing with Google Ads is too, it's useful to be quite specific with who you're targeting, because if you tell Google the exact audience you want to target, then they're only going to show that ad to that audience or audiences similar to that one. So you'll basically get as many conversions as possible because you've defined who you want to target. What goes into that as well? I would recommend adding some brand exclusions as well. So if you're a smaller local business, it's probably best you don't want to target on your big competitors. So for instance, if you're a gym, you might not want to compete with Good Life, which is like a big gym here, or LA Fitness. So you'll add exclusions here as well. So the way that you would do that, tools, shared library, and exclusions. And you'd add a negative keyword list here. So you can say brands excluded, and we could say on Exact Match, Good Life, LA Fitness, or whatever other competitors that you have. So these are just some examples for you. Another thing I would recommend doing is adding exclusions, keyword exclusions based on location. So even though we did exclude certain locations, if somebody's searching for, let's say like martial arts Mississauga, and Google still thinks they're in Toronto, so our ad will still show up. So what we want to do here as well, we can exclude these locations here as well. So I don't know, let's say North York, we want to exclude Scarborough and some other regions as well. Or we can even do like farther ones, for example. Then you would be essentially not ranking for these keywords that include these terms as well. And again, you can take a look in your search terms, so whichever ones you're showing up in. So when you go to your campaign, we're in our campaign setting right now. You want to go to Insights and Search Terms, and you're going to continue to see search terms pile up here as you run your ads. So my recommendation is that every 72 hours, you go into your account, and you can do it from either a campaign or ad group view. You filter out which search terms are relevant to your business, and you can even add some of those as keywords. There'll be an option here. I just haven't ran any ads as this is a demo account. But if keywords are not relevant, so for example, you have some that are with location, like this and this business near a region that isn't relevant to you, you can click it and add it as a negative keyword. So you'll see this option if you're following along in your ad account. And again, that way your ads are just as relevant as possible. So like I said, every 72 hours, you want to go into your account and filter out the irrelevant searches. Okay, and that way your ads, again, are going to show up to more relevant people, giving you the potential for higher relevancy of conversions. Another targeting thing that people often miss out on is, again, we're in our campaign here. We're going to want to go down to audiences, move this here. And you can see here that you have 3 demographic selections that you can make. So there's selections based on age, gender, and household income. So when you're targeting or running your ads, you're going to see here that you're ranking and getting clicks for a certain amount of for a certain demographic. So that'll be based on age, based on gender, based on household income. So, and you can filter out this as well. Sometimes I even look on based on impressions. So for what ages are the ads being shown to the most? And let's say we have a product that we know, or you know, that most of your customers are only in a 30 something age or 40 something range, like so the older demographic. You can go ahead and just filter out the 18 to 24 year olds by editing this and then deselecting it here. And you can honestly conduct a test like this. Like you could, let's say, run your ads for a week without the 18 to 24 range or without these like higher ones, and then see how your ads perform and make changes according to that. So with Google Ads as well, you don't want to make impulsive changes. You want to be calculated in the way you approach these things. And by actually seeing what the data tells you, you can understand what routes better performance for your ads. Another thing that I would recommend taking a look at is targeting by gender. So again, this depends on what industry you're in, but let's say you're running like a martial arts class for women's only. You only want to target females. So you would obviously deselect this, and you don't want to be ranking for males because that's just irrelevant clicks for you. Or if you're even running different types of workout programs, or again, like different martial arts programs, like, and you have one campaign, but each ad group, like you might be targeting the same keywords. So you might be targeting martial arts near me in each, but you want females and males to see a different type of ad because each of those genders needs to see something else that piques their interest, or based on your experience, you have programs that are specific to these genders. Like I said, with the women's only, or maybe like a general class. So that's where you would go ahead and create two different ad groups. Maybe they're each targeting the same keywords, but they're filtering out by gender. So with one ad group, you're only targeting females, and the other ad group, you're only targeting males. And that way, even if you have the same keywords, these ad groups are not competing each other because the ads are not showing for the same types of people. Again, that's one of the things I did that I found success with, because that way I could target two specific landing pages by filtering out genders to specific ad groups and not just pairing them together. And that gave me better results as well, with more relevant conversions and higher quality ones as well. Another thing, again, back to age, even target by age, right? So if you know most of your audience for this specific program or for this specific product or service is in the age range of, let's say, like 35 to 54, then you only want to target this. You don't want to leave it broad. You can leave it broader if you're seeing that, okay, I'm not getting as many impressions or clicks as possible, so I'm going to go ahead and test out a bit wider of an audience. If I'm getting good results from this, then I'll leave it as broader. Another thing, and this is arguably the most important one, would be targeting by income. So again, this depends on what country you're in, but in Canada and US, it does work. And it's a really, really useful tool because you can filter out people that can't afford your products. We don't have the actual income salary, the actual income in money value, but we have the percentages. So if you're selling like a higher ticket product, you might want to filter out these bottom two. I wouldn't necessarily narrow it down to this specific unless you're targeting a wide region of people. So if it's like an online product or service that doesn't really, the region that you're targeting doesn't really matter, you can literally just leave it to top 10% and you're going to rank for the highest household income people that can probably afford your product. Again, that's more relevant for higher ticket. But even then, if you're selling some type of programs, usually I just filter out the lower 50% because I don't want to rank for people that can't even afford my product or service in the first place. And sometimes I leave unknown checked. Again, the only way you can know if this works is through testing. If you're seeing a lot of your impressions are from unknown or clicks are from unknown and you're not getting the best results possible, then you would go ahead and just unfilter it and just select these options. Again, this takes part in a lot of testing. Like you can't just say, okay, like I instantly know this is going to work or this is going to get the best results, but you can play around with this and see how it pairs in with your strategy, with your product and your service. And that way you can maximize the results that you get. But I would not skip out on the household income. Like this is probably one of the most useful tools I've seen in Google Ads that not a lot of people talk about. Okay. Another thing that is quite useful would be adding customer lists. So if you're not familiar with that is, you can upload your customer lists with customers that you have of email and their name, or you can do it in more specificity as well. Like Google says in the software exactly how you should format it. But by giving Google these emails, you're telling Google on the types of customers that have converted, because it has data on every customer. So think of it as like a PI following you around, and they know exactly what you do. Like they know if you went to the store and purchased something after you saw an ad online. So what you're telling Google by giving them these emails and these names, it's you're telling Google that, okay, let me target these ads to an audience similar to the one you gave. So what are people with similar purchasing habits, similar audiences, similar ages, and all the relevant things to go with it, and let me target these ads towards these people because we think that they're likely to convert. That's like from the Google algorithm perspective. The bigger audience that you have is, it's the better that it is. If you have like a big email list and you haven't been leveraging that, and you have a new Google Ads account, or even if you've been running ads for a little while, it's literally takes like 5 minutes to upload it. All you would do is you want to go to Tools, Shared Library, click the plus here, and Customer List. I usually just upload these manually, and then you can name it like email list all customers, just a general name. Usually you can just do these. This is the simplest way you can do it. And then it'll tell you how to sort it right here. So by email and by name, I usually just do first name, last name, and email. Works well enough. If you have around 1,000 emails at least, then it's great for Google, because then it can create its own audience, because it needs 1,000 emails to create an audience of its own. And then you can leverage that when you're running your ads as well. So the steps to do that here is quite simple. And I recommend you don't sleep on this as well. Like this is quite a useful component that I've seen, to improve the success I have with Google Ads, especially when you're starting out your new account. Google needs as much data as possible, because if you're not giving Google data of your own, or you don't have at least 30 conversions in your account, it's going to use the data of your competitors, and that can often result in a higher CPC as well, just because you don't have data in your account. And if you're trying to use maximize conversions or maximize conversion value here as your bid strategy, right when you start your campaign, it's not going to use your own data sources because you don't have data. And that's what will result in, a more difficult way to scale your ad campaigns and actually see a profit. Again, what goes into the quality of the conversions that you're getting can also be the destination you're leading to people to. So make sure you do take a look at your landing page, and that it's specifically relevant to what the ads are saying. So if you're running some promo in the ads, whether it's like a search campaign, a shopping campaign, and you have like some discount or a massive discount, especially in today's season, it being like the holiday season, a lot of businesses do have discounts right now, even though we're after Black Friday and Cyber Monday. But the point is that you want to highlight that on your landing pages or your website, or even in your product headlines, just so you're continuing to entice users and remind them of the discounts that are active. Again, you want to make things really clear to the user, make it right in their face, so that you're motivating them to buy. Because if you say one thing in the ads and then you don't show it on the landing page, then it confuses the user, or they can't find the discount code or the discount that you were mentioning in the ads, and then they're on the landing page. It's not great. Or if your offer is different, that also plays a role as well. And then people might sign up, but they might even forget what they signed up for. But the offer can ring a bell. So if they see it twice, not just in the ad. Also, the images that you're using, the videos that you have, even create like a custom type of video, like filtering specifically to your customer base. The example I'm trying to give is, if you have a form and a video or an image, try using a higher quality video that is customized to the people that you want to see it. So for example, you're running a certain type of program, filter it specifically to that gender, specifically to that age. Say the types of people that you are looking to target and aren't looking to target with this video. And that way, when people watch it, they're like, okay, this person is for me and this business is for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill out the form. When somebody visits the landing page and doesn't scroll, so above the fold, optimize that. Like make sure the images are high quality, the videos are high quality, the headlines that you have are relevant and match, and even conduct split tests. So in the ads I showed in a previous video how you can do split tests with descriptions and headlines. Do that for a bit, and once you see a higher click-through rate, start working on your landing pages as well. Continuously split test your some component of your ads or landing page so you can continue to get better results and more conversions. And then eventually you find, what performs best to your audience. What do consumers resonate most with? The thing that you should take a look at is where are most of your ads showing on what technology device. So when you're in your dashboard, you can scroll down, and one of the options here as well will be where your ads showing. So on what platforms. So it might be on mobile. Like for some ad accounts, you might see an 80 or 90% mobile rate and only like 5% on computer. So what that means is if you're getting most of your clicks on mobile and conversions on mobile, so if it's like form submissions or even purchases, optimize for that. Optimize your mobile experience for users. Continuously improve that and focus on that above, computer, because even then, like a lot of advertisers focus on how their landing pages look on computer, but make sure on mobile it looks just as good, or it's easy for a person to scroll and they can find what they need to find. Look at all these points in depth is really, really important. And honestly, this should only take like around 30 minutes to an hour for you to just go through and make all these changes, and think about, what is better for your business. Like which one of these points that I mentioned actually resonate to you, and how can you, improve your ads by making these changes. That's what I'm trying to get you to think about here, because I can't know specifically what's best for your business, but I can tell you based on our experience what type of changes are most important and what I've kind of seen in most audits that I've given that people are missing out on, not capitalizing on. Okay, so that wraps up my video for getting higher quality conversions and more conversions in general for Google Ads. In my next video, I wanted to talk about how some people are missing out on potential conversions, just by some mistakes they make in their ad account. And again, from some audits I've given, this is what I've seen. And I'm really excited to share that video as well, because it's going to share some insight that not a lot of people always talk about, because there's a lot of tutorials and like simple tutorials. But my goal is to talk about more so hidden points and tips that can actually boost your performance of your campaigns and account, that aren't so widely talked about in the Google Ads industry, especially on YouTube. Okay, so I look forward to publishing that video, and I'll see you soon.